And these are the small things why I really love Unreal. Think of a character as an actor that is designed to be controlled. I will use one of my favorites, which is the Paragon Chimera. But how much we need to move it down? Right-click and select Promote to Variable. And pick something that I would like to use. We fixed that pretty simple. Now you can see that the NPC is taking another route. In this video, we are creating intelligent enemies in Unreal Engine from absolute scratch and truly understanding what is happening under the hood. Today, we begin with AI agents in Unreal Engine. First, we'll define clearly what an agent really is in simple words. Then we'll build our first AI character from zero using a fantastic monster mesh from Fab. After that, we'll add a real gameplay mechanic in blueprints so this creature can move toward a target actor placed in our scene. We'll dive into the important AI settings inside the character, the detail panel, and I'll show you a small efficiency trick in Unreal that will immediately make your workflow faster. This is the Game Creator Accelerator and I am Tony Munoz. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and ring the bell so you don't miss future episodes of this series and extra Unreal tutorials and strategies to build an independent path into video games. And I'm also building a complete third-person shooter in Unreal called Mad Gameverse. In the description, you will find the link to watch the entire process from scratch. And if you want to start your transition to game dev with the right strategy, take my free training on Woolen.com. The link is in the description. Now let's build your first AI agent. This is the project as we finished in the previous lesson, and today we are going to start working with agents. But what is an agent? Well, an AI agent in Unreal is simply a character in your game that can think and act on its own. Don't think this like magic. It's not a robot brain. It is just a normal character that follows rules instead of player input. When we talk about a player character, listens to a keyboard or a controller. But an AI agent listens to a logic. That logic tells it things like where to move, what to look for, when to react, and how to behave when something changes in the world. In Unreal, an AI agent is usually made of three main pieces working together. The pawn or character is the body. This is what you see moving around in the world. The AI controller is the brain. This is where decisions come from. And the behavioral logic that decides what to do next, like patrolling, chasing, waiting, or attacking. So when we say AI agent, we are really talking about a game character that can perceive the world, make decisions, and act without the player controlling it. Now, first, let's make some modifications to the NavMesh bound. I want to extend it to this entire area. So let's extend it here. And now like this. And move it to the center. This is a diagram of the common classes hierarchy in Unreal. The base class is the object. From that we derive to actor. From actor we create children that could be pawn, game mode, and controller. And from the pawn we create the character. What matters here is that a pawn and a character can be controlled via a player controller or an AI controller. When we refer to the player character, the one you control, you will use the player controller to control that character. When we are talking about AI in Unreal, we'll use the AI controller to control this character. Now let's create a couple of folders. In Content, New Folder, I usually create this base folder for my project, which is -games. And in games, I'm going to open a new folder for the character that I'm going to add. Open that folder, right-click, and select Blueprint class. We want to add a character. Check out the description that says a character is a type of pawn that includes the ability to walk around. This is exactly what I want because I want to add a mesh to this character. Let's call this one BP Walk to Object Agent. And let's open it. Now let me explain quickly what is a character. A character in Unreal is a special type of actor that already knows how to move like a living thing. It comes with a body, collision, gravity, and movement build. All the movement is controlled by this component, the character movement. Now, think of a character as an actor that is designed to be controlled. It can be controlled by the player, as I mentioned a moment ago, or it can be controlled by an AI. Under the hood, the character already has things you almost always need: a capsule for collisions, a mesh for visuals, and the character movement. The good thing about using the character is that instead of building movement from scratch, you start with the character and focus on the gameplay. If your game has humans, enemies, NPCs, or creatures that walk around the world, chances are that they are all characters. Why most AI should start with a character? Well, most AI enemies should start as a character because Unreal already gives you movement for free. Characters know how to walk, run, fall, handle gravity, stairs, and slopes. And they also work perfectly with navigation and animations. If you use a basic pawn, you have to build all that yourself, and that is annoying. So if your enemy walks, chases the player, or uses animation, start with a character and focus on behavior instead of movement. Now let's download our character. Click on your Fab button and in search, look for Paragon. I will use one of my favorites, which is the Paragon Chimera. Click this one. Tell me this is not awesome. And now add to project. Once it's finished importing into the project, you will have this folder called Paragon Chimera. Open the character, go to Hero, Chimera, and Meshes. We will use this mesh of Chimera. So let's go back to our agent, select the mesh, and in the mesh, where it says skeletal mesh, you can look for Chimera, or click this button because I previously selected it. At this moment, I also want to use the animation that Chimera brings as default. So you can click this arrow and look for Chimera Anim Blueprint. This Chimera Anim Blueprint comes here and is in this folder, Chimera Anim Blueprint. It is not perfect for our case, but I want to have some animation to show. You can see that the position of our Chimera is not exactly correct. We need to move it down, but how much we need to move it down? Click on the capsule component and you will see the capsule half height. This will give you the perfect reference to how much you have to move down Chimera. Go back to the mesh and we have to move it down in Z. So go to location and say minus 88 and enter. Now you have it right horizontally, but it should aim to the direction of X. So we need to rotate it 90 degrees. In fact, minus 90 degrees. So we want to rotate on Z minus 90 degrees. Now we have it in the right position and direction. Let me take a moment of your time. I created this channel because I do not want you to spend years trying to figure out what I had to learn the hard way. It took me 3-4 years of dedication to truly understand what it takes to build a path in the gaming industry and move toward building my own independent studio. Yes, here we teach on Unreal Engine. We build real systems, real AI, real gameplay, but that's only half of the equation. This channel is also about strategy. It is about methodology. It is about how to transition into the gaming industry even if you currently work in a different field during office hours. Because this is not just about learning a tool. It is about building something that gives you a reason why, something that moves you, something that lights a fire inside you. Using art, using technology, using stories in your mind that deserves to become games. That is why I created the Game Creator Accelerator Mentorship. Today, my students are learning Unreal in a structured way while also sharing their progress publicly, building visibility, growing their audiences, and improving week after week with the support of our community and direct mentorship from me. If you are serious about changing your path, I invite you to take my free 30-minute training at woolen.com. In that training, I explain what you can start doing today to move forward with clarity. And if you want to speak directly with me, to understand where you are, where you want to go, and what challenges are holding you back, I am happy to guide you. Visit woolen.com and take the first step. Your future in game development begins the moment you decide to build it. Now let's go back to this component, the character movement. Click on it. In the detailed sections, you can see a lot of properties that usually, well, when I started creating video games, they weren't available for me. But today you can play with all these values. For example, let's say character movement. You can define the gravity scale, max acceleration, braking friction. You can define the mass for the character. You can define the crouch half height. And you can define movements like walking as a default, but also swimming. Imagine that. And now you have also the movement for walking, the jumping and falling. These are properties that I invite you to explore, to discover how many things you can control using this component. And these are the small things why I really love Unreal. One property I want to pay particular attention is this one. Rotation. I want the character to be able to rotate in the direction of the movement. For that reason, I need to check this property, which is orient rotation to movement. But now I also have to walk to the pawn category, look for pawn, and you see you have a property called use controller rotation yaw. Right now I want to uncheck this. This is the last one because it won't be controlled by a player controller, but by an AI controller. The next step is setting the event graph for this character so it moves to a target location, in fact to a target object. So click on the event graph. We're going to work right now with the event begin play. Right click and select self, get the reference to self, drag an arrow to get AI controller, because remember that we are going to controller with an AI, and from the return value, drag an arrow to move to actor. Select move to actor and connect the event begin play with move to actor. Let's put this in a different order, this one here and here. And now I have to define what will be the goal. Let me move these two elements a bit more to the bottom. For the goal, you can move the mouse over the goal, right click, and select promote to variable. Let's move this variable to the bottom and rearrange these spaces. I don't want to be named like goal. I want to remain it as target. So here in the variables, click over it and write target. Keep in mind that this is not the more clever agent, but it shows what I want to show. Let's compile and save. Back to our level. Now that we have our new blueprint character, let's drag it and place it on the scene. Click F to center around him. It's looking pretty cool. And now I have to add a target actor. Let's find something cool as well on Fab. You can go to Home and define any type of actor, let's say 3D, and look for the price to be free, only free. There is one asset I like, which is called Mayus Basic VFX Pack. If I can find it here, let me go to all products, and here it is, Mayus Basic VFX Pack. But you can check whatever you want. Add to my project. Let's first save this level and go to Mayus asset. These kind of assets usually have a level showcase. So I'm going to open this level showcase and pick something that I would like to use. In my case, I want to use this one, which is the SM sphere. Control copy. And now let's go back to our level, which is in third person, level third person. And now let's place this element on my scene. It is a bit away, so let's move it to the right position or the position that I want. I would say a place like here. Oh, it looks fantastic here. Now, we are having a new problem because, as you can see, as soon as I added the actor into the scene, the recast NavMesh considered like a zone where you shouldn't be able to walk. We fixed that pretty simple. Select the object, in this case, my SM sphere, and in the search, look for navigation or just nav, and uncheck this property called can't ever affect a navigation. Now it's not affecting the navigation. Coming back to our character, I need to select it and tell them what will be the object that is its target, that it's going to move to that position. Remember that we call in the blueprint, in the event graph, that variable target. But if I try to look for target at this moment, nothing appears. The reason for that to happen is because I didn't define the target as an instance editable. I need to check this. Compile, save, go to the level, and now we have the target. The target can be any element or any actor that belongs to this scene. But you can also click the pick actor from the scene, look for the actor that you want, in this case, the pick SM sphere, and click over it. Everything looks good in principle, so let's try and test this. Okay, we have a problem with Chimera player character, so let's open it. Close this window, and here we can see the problems, which is related to the game input. But remember that this character won't be controlled by a game input. It's not me that I'm going to control the character. It is an AI system. So I can select all this section and delete, compile, save, and go back to our level. In case that you don't want to use the animation, which is another way of solving this problem, you can go to your blueprint, select the viewport, and in the mesh, remove the animation class. And you will have to recreate this blueprint, this animation blueprint, but everything will work as well. Go to the level third person, and now let's play this, but instead of selecting playing, because that will give me the position from my character, my player character, let's select this one, simulate this level in the active level editor viewport, and see what happened with Chimera. Now it's moving until it reaches the target. Perfect. Before we move forward, I want to show you a trick, a tip in Unreal, which is the viewport bookmarks. You can define any position of the camera. Let's say that I want this angle, and I want to record this position in case that the camera moves to another place, and I want to access this position quickly. Once you have the position that you want, you can press Ctrl and 1 to save that in a bookmark. Let's say that another position I wish to have is this one. Now I can do Ctrl 2 and save in the second position. If I want to go back to the first position, I just have to click 1 and the camera moves to that position. If I want to move to 2, click 2 and you are in the second position. This is very useful when you are developing a large environment or a large level. You don't have to move the cameras to all these positions. And you can use from 1 to 9 to define 9 different positions. Also, you can have this option, which is the world bookmarks. If you don't have it enabled here, go to Window, World Partition, World Bookmarks. And different to the shortcuts that you could have only from 1 to 9, here you can define all the bookmarks you want. Just click here and create the new world bookmark. I want to mention it because we will probably use it in the future. Let's go back to Content Browser. Now I want to add a new actor as an obstacle so this NPC can walk through this space. Go to Place Actors, Geometry, let's add a box, and I want to extend the size of this box, something like here. Perfect. Now let's move to this position to see how this is going to behave, and click this button to simulate, and click this button to simulate. Now you can see that the NPC is taking another route to get to the target. Everything is working perfectly. What we did today is more important than it looks. You did not just make a character move, you built the foundation of intelligent behavior in Unreal Engine. And foundations matter. In the next lesson, we're going to improve this agent even further. We will tune and adjust the mesh bounds properly so your AI behaves correctly. This is how real game systems are built, one improvement at a time. If you're enjoying this series, like, subscribe, comment, share, and ring the bell so you do not miss the next episode. And if you are serious about building your path as an independent game developer, visit woolen.com and take my free training. I will show you the strategy to move forward with clarity. And also, watch this video about how to hack the gaming industry. It will change the way you see your career. And until next time, keep creating, keep sharing, and most importantly, keep dreaming big. I'll see you soon, my fellow creators.